All right, so Carvana's CEO, Ernie Garcia, just dropped some pretty huge insights on their latest earnings call. And let me tell you, he's not just talking about a good quarter. He's painting a picture of total industry dominance. So we're going to break down the 5 key takeaways from his opening remarks to see what's really going on under the hood.
Okay, so here's the game plan. We're going to look at what makes them a structurally different retailer. Then we'll dive into this feedback flywheel he keeps talking about. After that, we'll check out what they're doing with a peek into the future of delivery, see how automation is their secret sauce, and finally, wrap it up with their absolutely massive goal of selling 3 million cars a year. Let's get into it.
So, first things first. Carvana is making a pretty bold claim here. Garcia says their recent success isn't just a fluke, a good quarter. He's arguing they're playing a totally different sport than every other car dealership out there.
And he comes right out of the gate with this whopper. He says, "We remain the most profitable and fastest growing automotive retailer." Now think about that. Usually you have to pick one, right? You're either growing like crazy or you're raking in profits. Garcia's saying they're doing both. And that, he claims, is proof that their whole model is just better.
And you know what? The numbers seem to back him up. I mean, look at this. In Q3, Carvana's growth shot up by 40%. And the other guys, the other big public retailers, 0. Flat. That's not just a little bit better. That's a massive gap. It really makes you wonder what in the world is going on.
And it's not just about selling more cars. It's about the money they make on each one. Their profit margins are more than double the industry average. So they're growing way faster and they're more profitable? That's kind of the holy grail. So the big question is, how on earth are they pulling this off?
Well, according to Garcia, the answer is something he calls the positive feedback flywheel. It sounds a little jargony, but it's basically this self-feeding machine where success in one area fuels success in another. Let's break down exactly what that means.
Okay, so here's how it works. It starts with more sales. Simple enough. But those sales give them a ton of data. And with all that data, they can build better models, better ways to price cars, figure out logistics, you name it. Those better models let them offer a wider variety of cars. And of course, a better selection brings in even more sales. See how that works? It's a loop, and each time it spins, it gets faster and stronger. And this isn't just some abstract business theory. For you, the customer, it means this. The number of cars you can choose from on their site is up by almost 50% in just a single year. That is a huge jump in selection, and it's a direct payoff from that flywheel we were just talking about. It's a massive leg up on the competition.
And as they get bigger, they can make these really smart moves that smaller players just can't. For instance, they started adding their reconditioning centers right at their auction locations. Boom. That alone cuts a full day off delivery time for customers. Or how about this? They built their own best-in-class digital auction. That attracts more people wanting to sell their cars, which means Carvana gets a better pick of inventory. Every one of these moves just adds more and more energy to that flywheel.
All right, so what does all this innovation actually look like on the ground? Well, Garcia gave a fantastic example, Phoenix. They're basically using it as a lab to test out a whole new way of delivering cars at insane speeds.
And the results are, well, they're pretty mind-blowing. In Phoenix, a whopping 40% of customers are getting their car the very same day or the next day. Compare that to the rest of the country, where it's just 10%. That's a 4x improvement. And it's all because they fine-tuned every single part of their local operation. And get this, on any given day in Phoenix, there are 2,500 cars just sitting there ready for a same-day delivery. Just think about that. You can browse, click buy, and have a car in your driveway in a matter of hours. A traditional dealership just can't compete with that. And Garcia says this isn't just a one-off experiment. This is the future they want to bring to everyone. Okay, so how is any of this even possible? What's this secret sauce? It really comes down to one word: automation. For years, they've been building this incredible system where you, the customer, can go through the entire complicated process of buying or selling a car without ever having to talk to a person. And it's not just a gimmick, it's actually working. Right now, more than 30% of people who buy a car from them do the whole thing online. No human contact until the car shows up. And if you're selling your car to Carvana, that number jumps to over 60%. That is a huge efficiency boost.
The reason they can pull this off is a business concept called vertical integration. All that means is they control everything, the whole shebang, from the data to the software to the inspection centers to the website you use. Because they own every step, they can make it all work together seamlessly. Your average dealership, they're juggling a dozen different partners. They just can't build something this smooth.
So you take this different business model, you add the flywheel, you pour on the automation. And what's it all for? Well, it's all pointed at one absolutely gigantic long-term goal.
And here it is. The goal is simple to say, but massive in scale. Sell 3 million cars a year. And they plan to hit that target in the next 5 to 10 years. This isn't some pie-in-the-sky dream. This is the North Star for their entire company.
And let's look at the hard numbers. It's not just about hitting 3 million cars sold. It's about doing it with a really healthy 13.5% profit margin. So again, it's that combination of massive scale and high profitability. If they can pull that off, it's pretty much game over. It's the ultimate proof that their way is the future.
So you might think their biggest worry is the competition, right? Nope. According to Garcia, the hardest part is just figuring out what to do next. There are so many opportunities, especially now with AI popping up everywhere, that their biggest challenge is just choosing where to focus. It's a good problem to have, I guess. Too many options, not too few.
And that brings us to the final, really fascinating thought here. The CEO himself says Carvana is a machine built for speed. It's already powered by data, automation, and that incredible flywheel. So what happens when you take that machine and you bolt on a supercharger like AI? What happens to a company that's already this fast when it gets that kind of power boost? Honestly, that's what makes Carvana's next chapter so compelling.